Hey guys, how are ya? Welcome to today's video. I'm probably going to strip a few females today, but first I want to talk about something. So, I just look at this tank. I've moved shit around, so that's why this is dirty. But look at the bottom. I don't know why. It's literally the dirtiest tank in the whole fish room. If you look at this one, exactly the same tank, almost identical filtration. This one's got one more mat in it, but the bottom's clean. Like this, if anything, this one's been vacked more recent than this one. I've got no idea why. Similar stocking levels, same size fish, and I just don't get it. So, my point here is, I want to make this a dedicated tumbler tank. So the problem with that is, this tank is 3 foot. That goes all the way to there. That's one tank. It's got holes drilled in it. It's got filtration. Thing circles. So what I'm thinking about doing is putting a division here. So that's sealed off. And then the auto water changes will still go into this front section. So that'll get fresh water every day. There'll be no filtration in it. It'll just be that water change, and it'll pretty much that's not going to work, guys, because the temperature swing. I don't know, guys. I'm going to have to think about this. Either way, this whole tank needs to be pulled apart. We've got like 60 fish here, like 100 fish there, and another 40 in here. But so now we need to move all them. This is like prized real estate too, because these are my star sapphires, which I'm growing out to put back in the colony. Because now we're rambling again, but if you look at this group, they're still young, so they haven't got their marbles yet, but they're very male heavy. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5, maybe 6 males, and I've only ever had one female hold at a time. Yeah, guys, don't judge my star sapphires by their color and shit yet. They are very young fish. Well, young for star sapphires anyway. I'm still waiting. They're so frustrating how long they take to color up. So I'm thinking and thinking, guys, but I don't know. I can't think of a way around it right now. I'm just going to give it a clean and keep going the way I've been doing it. I've been losing a few eggs to fungus, but realistically, that's just laziness for not pulling the infertile eggs. Even if that was completely clean, I think I would still get the fungus on it. The reason I say this is because this morning I lost like about 6 of the good Demonsaw eggs due to fungus on one of the dead ones, but I saw them last night and I didn't pull the dead one, so I think that's my fault. I'll just keep vacuuming it, try keep it as clean as I can. The water quality is perfect in there. Nitrates are like below 10 ppm. They're less than 5 actually. They barely even show up on the charts. There's no ammonia, so there's no reason that it's not alright. It didn't have fish in it, and I was getting huge amounts of shit on the bottom from like the water circling between the tanks. So I actually put fry in it because I figured that they would have something to eat on the bottom, and I was kind of hoping the tank would come up a bit cleaner, but it's definitely not the case. It's like 10 times worse. But anyway, I'm going to clean this tank now, and then we're going to strip some fish. I got a Buccochromis holding, so that'll be my first strip. As you guys know, Buccochromis and Demonsaws, they're emergency strips. I don't let them hold. They go against the rules of what I try to do for the rest of the room. I've explained that before, so I'm not going to go through it again. Alright guys, so in standard Rumbles Fisher in practice, I got completely sidetracked and I had 2 of these airlifts spare, so I've added them to it. I did a vac so the water level's low. I'm a bit worried about this. I'll keep an eye on it, because if that side drops, then that's gonna take away from my tumblers. So I either run the tumblers a little bit, I'll probably run them fairly low. The water change system's going to come on in the next half hour, so that'll fill back up. I'll reassess it. So there's 1 sponge there at the moment. I could combat it by putting more sponge there. I've got 2, is it 2? I've got 2 sponge filters in there at the moment, but realistically I don't need them because of how much sponge I've got in there, but we'll leave them in there for now. Also, we're just trying to combat this debris, and I don't know why this tank's so bad. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, look at this. Oh yeah, welcome to Glare City. Look at this tank. I don't think I've ever vacked this tank, not once. I don't know what the fucking go is with this tank. But if you guys have got some insight, if I'm missing something, do tell me. Because like, look at like this section here is heavily stocked, but like that one there is medium stocked. I just swapped this one. This one had like all of these guys in it, so there was no shortage in that one. And then on this side, this one is like really heavily stocked. This one is medium. It's got probably 22 centimeter fish, maybe 30. I just don't get it. That tank has more fish than this tank. The tanks are identical. I don't know. I got nothing. Anyway, I'm gonna do some stripping. We'll touch lightly on the stripping today. I'm not going to do what I did last time, but I will tell you what I'm stripping, kind of thing. Just quickly, but I wish these 2 would breed. Trophiops Macola Reef or something. Sorry guys, I'm shit with names. I record all of this in a notepad just because I'm so retarded at remembering. But I don't know anybody who's got these at the moment. And I bought 5. Literally because there was only 5 for sale. I hate buying groups of 5. I always like buying at least 10. 20 is more what I like to buy. But I ended up with like 4 males, 1 female, which was really frustrating. But they just hassle each other. You can see she's got nip fins. I don't think it's ever going to happen. So, Buccochromis rhodesii. So, I normally just strip this girl in a net because she's so big, but I just wanted to show you the size of her. So that's like a 9-litre bucket, and my male is about 5 centimetres bigger than her. So the male is pretty much bang on 30 centimetres, like 32 centimetres if you count the tail. But I get called out on that a bit. People think that he isn't actually that big. So the females are quite a lot smaller. So this gives you an idea of how big they actually are. Like, that's her in my hand. Looks like we've got a pretty small mouthful here. And now we have a fish on the floor. Alright, I'm going to throw it straight back into it. So that's actually a really small mouthful for her, but I'm still happy with that. So there is that. I've got a little trick to breeding these guys. If you are an OG member, I have mentioned it before, but I've got a little secret and it works every time. This is my 4th batch from them, and it's the 4th time I've done my little trick, and yeah, it works every time. Alright guys, so marble peacock. I just stripped 1 marble peacock, but I thought I'd get a quick video of one. Let's see what she has. They're pretty young eggs. It's kind of annoying, but with how I've been feeling lately and stuff, I haven't really been monitoring. There's still a couple in there. I haven't really been monitoring the females and watching them, so today's stripping is kind of on a limb. I don't know who's holding what sort of thing. Alright guys, in standard Benga fashion, we've got 6 females holding. It's kind of exciting. I'm pretty sure that one there, that's actually second generation. So the other ones are the parents of her, I'm pretty sure. So guys, 6 mouthfuls, and they're all pretty much at the same stage, like heads and tails. So my male must have gone on like a rampage and decided that day he was breeding, because yeah, there's like, it looks like there's one mouthful that's a bit younger than heads and tails, but I'm just going to throw them in all together anyway. Last time I did it, it worked pretty well, so it's easier when I'm stripping on the scale that I am, if I can put them together. It doesn't matter, like say the smallest group in there gets eaten by the bigger ones, it's not really going to matter because the market's pretty quiet at the moment, and the rate that I'm growing them, I'm getting enough right. I don't need 6 mouthfuls every fortnight, if that makes sense. So we've got a first timer here, guys. I have let them hold a couple of times, so it's not her first mouthful, but it's the first one that I'm stripping. So these are, I'm not 100% sure how to say it, Metricola Misobo. I don't think that's the right pronunciation, but you guys should know what I mean by that. But she is gorgeous. I actually like the girls better than the boys. I think they're even nicer than electric yellows as well. They're so deep and orange. And the male's like dark blue, really nice fish. So we got swimmers there. I'll probably still put them in a tumbler just to be safe. No, they can go in a fry saver. 4 hongi. That's pretty standard for them. They're pretty good breeders. Usually it's 4 to 6 holding at a time. We've got some nice big swimmers there, guys. There's a few that need to go in a tumbler, but only 1 mouthful. Demonsaw female, guys. These guys are a ticking time bomb. So I had, I think, about 15, and they fought to the death, and I'm left with 1 pair. I've literally got a male and a female. I've thought about moving them to a different tank, because they take up a 250 litre tank, just a pair. I've tried throwing some back in at like 4 centimetres, and he just kills them. But they breed every fortnight, and I've got plenty growing out. My plan is to replace them, but I'm not going to replenish the group. I want to grow out a group, and when that group starts breeding, completely replace them. Or even sell the male as a display and keep this girl, because this girl is actually gorgeous. Very straight lines. Great fish. Two Alunacara Code Blue females. It's a bit unusual for them. Usually I get 4 or 5, but their tank is the coldest one in the room where they're positioned. Their tank only sits on like 22 degrees in winter. They still breed, so I'm not too stressed. So that's the thing with the AC. you do get fluctuation in tanks. But, so what I mean by fluctuation is tanks are different temperatures. They hold that temperature, so they don't actually fluctuate in themselves. So these fish have been in a cooler tank since they're like 4 centimeters. So they're used to it. They have no drama breeding. It's all good. Hey guys, I got carried away. I forgot to film. I just stripped a Cobalt blue. I'm glad that I stripped a Cobalt blue because they haven't bred for me for probably like 2 months. And I sold all the fry at the auction, and then I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make a new colony. They're getting a bit old, but now I've just stripped a female, so it means I can build a new colony. So this is Labradachromis Nakali, just one of them holding. Tell a lie guys, we've got 2 Nakali holding. The tank they're in, it's really hard to see when they're holding, so the same as the Cobalt Blues. I don't know how many mouthfuls I've actually missed, but just because it's so low. And I find some Maboona, I find really hard to actually even spot the mouthfuls. Like, I don't mean, if I sit there and look for them, I see them. But like when you're in a room with so many fish, I don't look at every single group, like study them, if you know what I mean. These guys are gorgeous, even the females, pure white, I love them. I'm doing something a bit naughty here guys. I've run out of tumblers. No, what am I doing? I've run out of tumblers, so I'm actually putting Nakali and Hongi in one tumbler. I suggest not doing this, but if you have to, something like Nakali and Hongi, which are extremely separable, it's not too bad. Last but not least guys, Red Empress. So I was actually thinking about getting rid of these guys because I was worried that the quality wasn't high enough. And after talking to a couple of old timers, the fish that I have are a very good example of Red Empress. The reason that I'm getting confused and thinking that my fish aren't as good a quality as they could be is because we now have the Super Red Empress, which are a different fish, a different collection point, and they are a much nicer fish in my opinion. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm thinking about breeding these guys because it'd be good to keep a nice line of traditional Red Empress going. But I think I am going to get the Super Red Empress just for personal preference, what I like the look of better, and swap them out. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'll let you guys know what I do either way. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get a good shot for you guys, but I think I might have a trout holding. This is a sideways 4x2 foot tank, and it's divided diagonally, so getting a shot of them is going to be near impossible, but I'll just keep an eye on her over the next week. But I'm pretty sure she's holding. The male looks to be a bit of a dick. I don't really like my chances, but there's 2 female, 1 male in there. If the male does smash the females, the male is going to go to a good home. I know somebody who's got quite a large group and he doesn't have a male, so I'm contemplating giving these guys away anyway. But the fact that I think she's holding makes me not want to. just editing my video, guys, and I realised I didn't do an outro. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed that one. Pretty random, maybe dragged on a little bit. If you made it this far into the video, awesome, guys. You guys are my favourites, the ones that make it to the end. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you're not subscribed.